Coach, good morning. Appreciate you waking up early to join us. Now I am. You don't know me personally, but I have a certain disdain for the program in College Station with Texas A&M, and this will probably be the first time ever that I'm rooting for the Aggies as they head down to Gainesville this weekend. Because if one win, you guys will win the outright SEC title instead of sharing. But excited to have you on this morning.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm excited to be on. I wasn't sure where you were going with that story at first, but we're going to be, Aggies fans this weekend too. But whether they win one or not, we're pretty excited that we're sitting at the top. Pretty cool.
It's weird saying that. And I heard you talking about this with Chuck Z and Quinn, and I've heard you talking about it with others. One of the things you pointed out with your program is how important those first couple of gals were when you guys had that one win. And I know that can be painful. I remember Matt Rule at Baylor talking about that when they went 1-11. 3 years later, they're in the Big 12 championship for football. Coach, how important was that one-win group to keep this program together and get where it is today as we sit here and you're an SEC regular season champ?
Well, it was instrumental to where we are right now because, when you think back to 6 years ago, I guess, feels like a lifetime ago in a blink of an eye. It wasn't, we weren't going to see our success and wins, and we knew that. And so it's hard to get your team to understand that when that's what you want. And it was just getting them to buy into, we need to really focus on how we play. We need to focus on how we compete. And that first year, we had one conference win. And the thing that was the hardest was there was probably another 4 or 5 that we were winning in the 7th inning, and we didn't know how to finish, which is part of that culture change. It's part of that transition. But those were the painful ones, not the blowouts, although those are painful in a different way. Yeah. But they played the game differently. And I think that's the big thing is, one of the first commits we got was Mary Half and Hannah McEwen. And they saw the difference. They saw that we could do this. I mean, they believed us. And if they don't see that in how we play that first year, then it doesn't happen. So it was so cool, obviously, to win the other night and share that moment with our team. But the texts I got from alums and just making sure that they know that they were a huge part of this was just something that was so special. So it's hard when you look back and you're like, one win, but gosh, it was how we played and it was how we competed. And then that next year we made NCAAs, and every year we've taken a huge step forward. And if those recruits don't see it in those current players, then they don't believe that can happen. So they absolutely were instrumental.
It's pretty awesome the sense of pride the fan base takes, even fans that may have not ever been to a game or even dialed it up on the streaming. I'd run into and talk to people all the time that hey, what about that softball program? And they probably couldn't tell you anything about it, but it's got a Razorback on it. So it's pretty cool, Coach, how this state's really embraced this, and I think you probably added a lot to the bandwagon here with this recent surge.
Yeah, this fan base is unmatched. And, that's another thing that it's so fun to get to explain that to recruits, and then they get to come see it and our players see it. And when you just know that, the pride and the loyalty for the Razorbacks stretches from border to border, and it's just unlike anywhere else. It's so cool. And it's interesting. My husband and I were laughing. I'm like, I guess when you win an SEC championship, you're a lot more followable on Twitter. So it's like, it's just been funny to see just the exposure and the fan base continuing to grow. And I'm just so proud of this team because they set out to do that, and they've won them over every year, and it's pretty incredible.
Coach, what are a couple, 3 things that have been the biggest difference makers over the last 6 years in building your program? Is it facilities in Bogle Park? Is it the SEC network and the streaming and people being able to watch your games? Or how have you went about building this program? What have been the integral pieces for you?
Well, yes to both of those things. Well, obviously the SEC is the best conference in the country, and it's the biggest stage. So not only are we playing in an incredible facility at Bogle, which I wouldn't trade for any in the country, that you play in great facilities every weekend on TV and just that exposure, and you're playing the best competition. Who wouldn't want to play the best every weekend? It makes you so much better. But it's the Razorback athletic department. And I knew that when we came here, and even on my interview, you could tell this place was special. And that's where I was like, okay, everything's in place for us to do some really big things here. We just got to get it going. And you listen to our players, our current players, and it's so true. Is once you get here and see this, how special it is, it's like, wow, it just like, it's wow, and we knew if we could just get them here to see it, that they would believe it. They would see how special this place is and want to be a part of it. And I truly believe it's this athletic department. It's Hunter. He's an incredible leader. It's the support of the whole athletic department. It's the connected nature of our sports and our coaches. It's the great people. It's the great fan base. This whole thing is just incredibly special.
Arkansas softball coach Courtney Deifel with us here in the Morning Rush. We talk about recruiting bases in every sport, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. We spend a lot of time. It's Recruiting Thursday, in fact, here on the Morning Rush, Coach. And I think probably a lot of our listeners are a lot like me. They have no clue what the state of softball is, and I know a lot of high schools play it in our state. Give us a sense of the recruiting base that there is for you and your program within this state, the growth of the sport, because honestly, it doesn't get a lot of attention, and I think a lot of people don't have a sense of whether there's more work to be done there, whether it's on a good level to sustain your program. Give us a sense, educate us a little bit on where softball is in this state at the lower level, the youth levels.
Well, right now it's as good as it's been, and it's continuing to get better. So the sport of softball was kind of behind in the state. They used to play slow pitch a long time. They had one of the later transitions to fast pitch, but it's taken off, and it continues to just get, leaps and bounds better every year. And so that's really exciting. It's an exciting time for the sport and softball in general across the country. It's just, there's so much opportunity in it, and it's really starting to take off in the state of Arkansas. And I'll just add something too. It's been really neat just kind of getting emails and texts from just different programs in Arkansas, and just, their young teams having watch parties and watching our team and watching little girls come to Bogle and have signs in the outfield that say, "Hit it to me, Braxton." And, that's what it's all about. And, I do think that just growing the program here and turning it around gives them something to shoot for. Mm-hmm. Our players want to be role models to those little girls, and they do such a good job with that. But that's what it's all about. And I think that when these little girls in Arkansas can see it and see what they can become, I think that there's just more of something to grab onto. And so I think that it's in the best state that it's been. We still need to do better. We still need to keep growing in the state of Arkansas, but it's an exciting time, and it just keeps getting more and more and bigger, and it's pretty cool.
Coach, one of your biggest supporters is Hunter Yurchek, and besides the confetti, we had Dave Van Horn on, which I thought was hysterical.
Oh my gosh! He just dropped a confetti bomb and then walked out. It's all over my office, but it was awesome.
Yeah, he's what he's done on campus, and we had Dave Van Horn on a couple weeks back, and he said he's just not energized the campus, and Dave said he's felt a camaraderie amongst coaches that he hasn't felt before. Coach, what has Hunter Yurchek done for your softball program?
Oh gosh, well, his support for all of us is just incredible. He's an awesome leader, and gosh, you look back through this past year of uncertainty, and you see what he's done, not just for Arkansas, but for the SEC and college athletics, and he's so student athlete minded, and he's just really transparent. He's, all those things. He's so great, but he just supports us so much, and you feel that, and our girls know him, and which is really great. He pops into practice, and and they just know wholeheartedly that he cares for each and every one of them and the softball program. And so he's just been so huge in his leadership in general. But this past year, just how he's led all of us is just, it's just crazy. It's so great. But Dave's right. I mean, the camaraderie on this campus and amongst the athletic department is, it's just something I've never experienced. And just to know that every single person in this athletic department is not only following us, but rooting for us. And it's just really special. And I just think, I just don't know where else, you walk off the field as the softball coach and a handful of your first texts are Sam Pittman and Dave Van Horn and Lance Harder and Colby Hale and Shauna Taylor. And everybody just follows everyone so closely, and they're just so invested in everyone's success. It's, I know I keep saying it, it's just a really, really special place. And it starts at the top with Hunter.
Coach, I know a lot of people are really excited about postseason play coming up. For those wondering, I think the NCAA is going to cap it at 50%. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, but that's been reported. For those wondering about host sites, SEC stuff coming up, just kind of walk our audience through what's ahead for your softball program in postseason play.
Well, we got a first round bye in the SEC tournament, which is pretty exciting. We're waiting to see, obviously, if we're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed. We leave next Wednesday to go to Tuscaloosa for the SEC tournament, single elimination, and that will be the first time all year that ESPN actually sends live talent out to cover a softball event live. So that tells you how big this tournament is. And then next Sunday, we will watch our selection show. We are 95% sure that we will be hosting, but you just never know. And we feel like we've worked ourselves into a top 8 seed, that if we can host a regional and pull that out, that we should be home for a super too. They did expand to 50% capacity. For a while they were sitting at 25%, and so they just pushed it to 50%, which is really exciting for Bogle fans and Baum Walker fans. And so we're excited. We're expecting to play very long into the postseason, and it'll be cool. I know it's only 50%, but Razorback fans pack a big punch, so we know they'll come and fill that to 50, and it'll feel like 100, and we're really excited about it.
Dan, if I got it worked out in my mind right, you could be hosting a super regional the same weekend Dave Van Horn's crew could be hosting the regional down the road, so that could be a very exciting weekend on campus if I got my weekends right in my head. So.
Yes, it could be. They're like a week behind us, so right. Fingers crossed, and it could be a really exciting weekend on campus for sure. And
I think about back to his first super regional success and getting to the College World Series at Arkansas in 2004, and everything that went into that and that magical moment, and how it catapulted him forward. That's exactly what this program needs to, take that next step. And I know everybody talks about Omaha in baseball, but Oklahoma City and going to Bricktown is a pretty special deal in your sport as well.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, absolutely. That's just an incredible week. And we feel like we have the team to get there. And with it only being 3 hours down the road, I think that's pretty special. It could feel kind of like a home game if we can just get there. But we definitely have our sights set on that for sure.
Coach, we really appreciate you making some time for us this morning. Like Tommy, like myself, there's so many Arkansas fans listening to our program right now that are so proud of where you've taken your program, and best in luck in the postseason play. And hopefully we can talk to you not just after a regular season championship, but when you guys hopefully make it to Oklahoma City for that round.
Yeah, let's do that for sure. Thank you so much for having me on this morning.
We're all rooting for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Great conversation with Coach Courtney Deifel this morning. You could feel the energy that came out of her and the excitement. And there's a reason there's so
even at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. So for her to have that type of energy, it's pretty infectious this morning. Yep,
they need a Brady Toops type moment to propel them. That got them out of the regional into the supers, then beat Florida State. This softball program needs something like the baseball program had. 16 years ago or whatever it's been back in 2004. So, and I think you'll see it catapult to the next level with something like that. So be pretty awesome.